Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome to our video by rebatemyhome.com. Today we're going to be touring a community in Fort Worth, Texas. It's called Walsh and really great community. It is a big community. This community that we're going to be touring today, what I call these are drive-throughs because a lot of what you see when you fall in love with a new home community or a master plan community is the approach, right? It's like, how do the streets look? How close is it to the major metropolitan area? And this is a pretty unique community. It's actually the largest development in the nation within 12 minutes of a major city, that major city being Fort Worth, Texas. So if you're familiar with the Dallas Fort Worth area, it's kind of on the southwest side of Fort Worth. We're going to speed up the video here in just a little bit because you can see it's sprawling. It takes a good, 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to get to the main part of the community where all the new home construction is happening. So you can imagine this is going to take a couple of years to build out this community, but it's already been in existence for a little bit of time here now. And more about the community. The homes are in the price range around 250,000 to over 1 million. I think they post on the website 200K, but I tell people honestly, you're probably going to be looking more at the 250,000 as the starting point, and obviously it just goes up from there. There's 32 miles of hike and bike trails. So really nice space. It's going to have, obviously commercial and residential, and you'll just see a number of those things just get built out over time. If you look on the right here, you'll notice some nice homes with stairs. One of the common things in Dallas, you'll notice that they'll put the garages on the back side of the house, so it gives a very clean look to the street. Right, you don't see any driveways or garage doors. You have to approach your house if you're in a car from behind the house. Some people love that. Some people hate it. It's just kind of a thing that you'll see a lot of in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So, like I said, it's I call these drive-throughs. So I like to kind of take my time and drive around the neighborhoods. It gives a real sense to people, the style of home, style of homes, the parks, what they can expect to see when they're kind of pulling up to one of these communities. There's a number of builders here. So there's Britton Homes, David Weekley, Drees Custom Homes, Highland Homes, Toll Brothers, Perry, a number of others. I won't go through the full list, but you pretty much have a good pick, a good selection of builders at various price points that you can look at while you're here. One of the nice things you'll notice about this community too, it has some nice elevation changes. You don't see that a lot. Dallas in general is a pretty flat topography. Texas, is pretty flat when you think about it, with the exception of places like the Hill Country. There's parts in Austin, San Antonio, where you get some nice elevation changes. This community, from the lowest street to the highest, you have about 1,000 feet. So some nice elevation changes that you'll kind of notice here. A little bit more difficult to notice in the car, but that was one of the things that first struck me when I pulled up to this community. So we're going to pull in here and kind of just get deeper in the neighborhood. I'll point out some things as we go through. One of the things I always tell people, when you're touring new home communities, you're going to see a lot of construction. So one of the things that you want to ask yourself is, hey, if I'm one of the first buyers in the community, I may get a nice price point on my home. It may not be as expensive as some of the homes that come out later, but you're going to be living across from a construction site, for a year, 2 years, possibly longer. You also want to watch your tires. You talk to any real estate agent, and many have lost a tire with a nail in the tire or something else in the street from some of these construction sites. So always be careful and kind of pay attention as you're driving to make sure you're not rolling over anything as you kind of go through. So you can see, on the right here, homes haven't been built. On the left, one that's still under construction. There's going to be thousands of homes here, so it'll take some time as these properties get built out. But if you were one of the first buyers in this community, I think as we go through, like maybe even hard here on the left hand side, there's homes already for sale. Yeah, there's one that's for sale. So that could be someone that only lived in there a year or two and they're already selling. Sometimes that happens with people's jobs, or if they're military and have to pick up and move. You'll see some homes that are fairly new already in resale. That's not something to think about too. If you're like, hey, I want to live in a new community, but I don't have time to wait for the 6 months to go, 6 to 9 months to go through construction. Do I buy a resale? Really like that home on the right that we just passed. Nice little kind of cul-de-sac cut out there. I love the variety here. So you'll see, as we go through, lots of different styles. No two houses kind of look the same. A lot of the older neighborhoods you'll see, when there's only like one or two builders in a neighborhood, you tend to see a lot of the same homes repeated. It'll have different brick or things like that. But with this number of builders in here, you really see some nice variety. So as I was mentioning, some of the elevation change you'll see, and we'll go up there later at the top there. You can see those homes are a little bit higher because there is some nice elevation changes as you go through this particular neighborhood. One thing to keep in mind, obviously the builders know that, the developers know that, and so the homes that are probably higher elevated tend to be a little bit more money. So it's all about, you're going to pay for the nice view. No matter where you go, that's always something. The builders know it, the developers know it, and so I'm sure those homes on kind of the top portion of the community will go for a higher price point. There's a little park you'll see there on the right hand side, and it's nice. You can see some of the trails, and it kind of runs the length for quite a ways. It goes through the neighborhood, the main section there. I don't know the price point of some of these homes, but the 3-car garages, and if I had to guess, most of these are going to be kind of in that 500,000 and up range. What's also nice here, though, you'll notice you'll have a 2-story home next to a 1-story home, so that really helps with giving you a little bit more diversity, I think, in the neighborhood, in terms of it's nice to see different properties and not the same property over and over again, even if it's different brick or different siding. And so that's one thing I think that was nicely done in this particular community. We're going to start going back towards the center of the community here. So another resale home there. That's kind of in resale. One on the right as well. One thing when you're thinking about it, everything is big in Texas, like they say. If you can afford it, definitely go for the 3-car garage. You'll see a number of them here. There's one right there across the street. Even if you don't have kids, all the holiday decorations and all that stuff, unfortunately, we tend to hoard in America, like a lot of American families, and there's always plenty of stuff. But whether you have a jet ski or a motorcycle or holiday decorations, the third car garage, or a teenage driver, it always comes in handy. So even if your floor plan, you'll notice some builders will have a standard floor plan, and then there'll be um, a version where you can kind of add on a third car garage if you have the right lot. So think about that when you're looking at some of these new home communities. There's a model home right there on the right hand side we just passed. Like I said, it's going to be way too expensive and impossible to add on a third car garage once the house is built and you're in 2, 3, 5 years later. So if you can afford it, bite the bullet and get the third car garage before while the house is being built. And I'm turning in here. There's a Drees home on the right hand side here that we're going to pass. We will come back to that house later. And it's just a real quick tour, just so you can get an idea of kind of what the homes look like in the community. But it's Drees is one of the builders, and what they're what you call a think of it as a semi-custom builder, which is nice. So when you look at kind of the different types of builders, there's what we call production builders, and that's pretty much the cookie cutter of you go in, here's the 6 or 8 plans that we have, you pick that plan, and they have a little bit of customization you can do. There may be things like, oh, we can put a door on this room, or you can keep it open and make it a game room. You can add an extra bathroom if you want to do that. So there's things like that. And so those are kind of the production end types of builders. And those are the bigger ones that you'll hear, kind of in the news, the Lennars, the KB Homes, all those kind of builders. DR Horton, they fall into that category. Drees is a little bit kind of a step above that, from a standpoint that they give you a lot more flexibility in terms of what you can do. And so that's why it's called a semi-custom home. And then, of course, on the highest of high ends is a fully custom home. And that's literally where, you go find your builder, you get an architect, you keep your blueprints, and it's pretty much build whatever your heart's desire. Just going to turn down here a little bit. Some other homes you'll see. Obviously the cul-de-sac homes are always nice because you get kind of lots of space in the backyard. The homes are fairly spread out well, which is always really, really nice to have. Going back to that comment I made around the 3-car garage, it's also important to kind of pay attention to your lot. So the wider the lot, obviously the more flexibility you're going to have in terms of what you could do. Can I add a 3-car garage? Can I, add a pool or do some other things later if you have a much wider lot? So you'll hear builders say, "Oh, we're on 60-foot lot, or we're on an 80-foot lot." So that is literally the front width. If you were standing in the street and looking at your home, that's the front width of from left to right or right to left. There were some mailboxes on the left-hand side that we just passed, and I'll make a comment about that in a minute here. But just finishing out my comment on the lot size. So an 80-foot lot's going to be, wider, obviously, than a 60-foot lot. And so the wider the lot is, the more flexibility you have. It also means you're not going to be as close to your neighbors, which is kind of something nice if you don't want to kind of look out your bathroom window and be staring through your neighbor's bathroom window. So those mailboxes that we saw, and you probably didn't notice it, but as we drive through, you'll notice, again, some pretty clean lines. Some homes have the driveway in the front, some do not. But what you'll also notice, there's no mailboxes. And so they have these community mailboxes where they're scattered throughout the neighborhood. And so your home will be designated to one of those community mailboxes. It's kind of, if you've ever lived in an apartment, all the mailboxes are in one area. In a community like this, there's several of those scattered. throughout. They're kind of, they're rainproof or weatherproof, and you'll get a key and you pull up and kind of get your mail from the mailbox there. But you'll notice no individual posts at each individual house. Also makes it easier for the post office. So the postal guy loves that, right? So he doesn't have to constantly start and stop at every single home. With these huge communities like that, it's just more efficient for them to set up the mailboxes in one area. The postal guy will come out, postal guy or gal, they'll come out and they get to like fill all the mail all at once in that one area, and they don't have to constantly go to individual homes. So it kind of works well. I've lived in communities and before, new home communities, obviously, and it's nice. Sometimes you'll meet new neighbors and people that you wouldn't see otherwise if your mailbox was right in front of your house. So some other things I'm pointing out here. Oh, there's another home for sale on the right hand side. So you'll notice this community's been up a little bit of time, a year or two, and so that's why you'll see some of these resale homes that as you go through. So those are, yeah, it looks like those were some community mailboxes, I think, on the right hand side there as we went around the corner. We're going up a hill here. You may not notice again in the video, but we're steadily doing a nice little. I don't want to call it an ascent. It's not that steep, but kind of a nice elevation change as we're kind of going up this hill here. So we're going to go around this bend. And as we go around this bend, if you look on the right-hand side, you can see kind of how far down. You can see the rooftops of some of those homes down there. Again, this is all within Walsh, but nice elevation change here. And you really can't see it too well in the video on the left-hand side, but these homes are obviously going to be a little bit higher price point than some of the homes. See there, one with the Spanish tile roof. That's always a good sign, or always a sign that the home is a little bit more expensive when you see that type of roof, on the home. So we're coming through here. We're gonna work our way back out towards the main street when we first came in, and that's going to put us closer to the model home. And like I said, we'll just do a really quick tour through the model home, so you can just get somewhat of a feel. I can't even guess right now how many model homes will eventually be in this community, but it'll be probably a good 20 plus, if not more, model homes that'll be at some point in time when this community is fully built out. Really nice day. Couldn't ask for a better day out here in Fort Worth. Clear skies, a little few clouds in the sky. Today was probably, I want to say, if not 100, close to 100. This time of year, middle of August towards late August, you're hitting 100 plus days for 3, 4, 5 days in a row. So definitely, bring a bottled water when you come out and do these tours, especially if you're going to be standing outside and kind of like walking around the properties and not inside the whole time. All right, so we switched over here. We're on my different camera now. So this is a Drees Custom Home. one of their models that they have, and we're gonna go take a peek inside. And not sure about the price point on this one, but again, look at most of these homes, you're going to be starting, let's say 450, 500,000 and up, just based on the square footage and some of the features that you're going to see in some of these homes. So this is a bedroom kind of off the main foyer that you'll see here. This home doesn't have it, but you'll notice with some of the new trend now is with these Gen X homes where there'll be a separate suite or, definitely an ensuite bathroom and things like that in the front of the house, where if you have, other family members living with you, it's real convenient. This tends to be, this is a little smaller home, so it doesn't have that, but that's a nice library there. You'll see with the ladder on the bookcase. Really nice high ceilings and curved staircase. As with most of the models, it's going to be, an open floor plan. That's pretty much the design trend that you're seeing now. And so, I like it. I think everyone has their personal preference, but now you see enough of them and you're like, well, it's great for entertaining. I like how they have this little nook here in the back. So it goes through to the laundry room here. Definitely love laundry rooms that have the sink. It just comes in handy if you want to wash something by hand, or you spill your Tide detergent on, and you need to kind of clean up a little bit. You have that. But I like that little computer desk room they have there. Those are the areas you want to use for your mail and your keys and all the stuff that you don't want to kind of just have laying out in the open. Those little computer nooks come in handy. Nice, great outdoor space. Got the fire pit, the fan. Definitely want to have that in Texas. You don't see too many prints on the wall outside, so that was a nice touch that they did there. I think there's a little bit of a horse theme, equestrian theme that you'll see here throughout the home. Now, this is my favorite part. Here as we turn, look at the tile, the vertical tile, that gray tile on the left-hand side. That's just a great little feature. It's the same tile. See, it matches in the stand-up shower. Really nice feature there. Just really clean, really slick looking. Coming here to the master closet, some built-in shelves with a outlet. Can't go wrong with that. And then if you look here, it looks like there's something there. That was kind of an odd little bookcase. Maybe there's something behind that. And yes, there is. Looks like they have a storm shelter. So you may hear it's probably too small to be called a panic room, but in Texas, in Dallas, you do get tornadoes. You don't get the hurricanes like in Houston down on the Gulf, but you get tornadoes. We're far enough up in Texas that we're only about 45 minutes away from Oklahoma. So a lot of people don't realize how far Dallas, Fort Worth is up on the map, but we do get tornadoes and high winds. So nice to have that little feature. And it's definitely something that you have to build when you're getting the house built. Trying to get one of those storm shelters built. It's bolted into the foundation, and then they build that closet, around that storm shelter. So if that's something that you're interested in, living in Texas, then definitely it's nice, something you can do easily when you're building new, not so much when you're buying a resale home. Up here they have a little it's a nice family room. It's open, it's like kind of your home theater area. And then you have the game room kind of right off the main area. Another bedroom up here. With a little automobile theme going on here. The interior decorators on all the models, they always do such a fabulous job. And then when you move in your house and you're like, well, my furniture is not as nice as the model home. So I always tell people, think about that when you If you can tour an empty home, an empty floor plan that you're going to buy, it kind of helps think about like, well, what's the reality of when I put my own furniture in the house? I'm not going to have, the same type of furniture that they have. Another bedroom here. So if I'm got my count right, there was a master downstairs and that side bedroom when we first came in. You had the auto theme bedroom, that bedroom, and then this is kind of the last bedroom here. So we're going to step out of that bedroom, and that's really it. So thank you everyone for touring, doing my drive-through at Walsh today. And remember, rebatemyhome.com if you're looking for new home construction.